Hi guys, Squall here. Welcome to a train sim video. It's been a little while since I've done a train sim video, and last week Dovetail released the latest update to Train Sim World. This is now called Train Sim World 2020, which was a free update to Train Sim World if you had it. If you had Train Sim World before, it's now called Train Sim World 2020. It adds a bunch of things in there, which we'll talk about in a second. I'm going to use what's called the Train Sim World Digital Deluxe Edition, which basically includes some extra bits and pieces, mostly just route stuff. There's nothing, like the base game is the same whether you have Train Sim World 2020 Deluxe or not, but the Deluxe comes with some extra scenarios. What we're going to do today is we're going to use this one here, which is the Peninsula Corridor San Francisco-San Jose route add-on, which is about 47 miles of track between San Francisco down to San Jose on the, obviously down in California. Includes a couple of trains, which we'll talk about in a second. What I wanted to do was just quickly mention the new kind of interface for Train Sim World 2020. There's a few things that have changed. One is you can change the outfit that your character wears, whatever. They've renamed a few things. For example, tutorials is now called training. Collectibles, which are these things down here, are now called jobs, which I don't quite understand. And then you've got a new debrief screen, which we'll see at the end. They've also brought back the action point system, which is kind of a system which you'll remember from the original train simulator, where you had 0 to 1,000 points effectively, and then it gave you a bronze, silver, or gold medal, depending on how well you drove. In other words, did you stick to the speed limits? Did you stop on the platform accurately? That kind of thing. So they've kind of brought that back, which is a nice thing, I think. It's good to have this stuff back. It gives you something to aim for. And you can see up here, it gives you like a best AP score. That's your action point score. So, you know, it kind of gives you the ability to try a scenario and then try it again to try and better your score if that's what you want to do. So this is the training module section. There's a bunch of training modules here, just 4 of them. This one here is bugged out for me, so I can't complete this one. It's very similar to this one, but this one just doesn't, I just can't complete it. So I've not been able to finish that off. That's the training. Then there's scenarios that you can do, which are these things. 6 scenarios that you get. Each one ranges from like 20 minutes to 60 minutes. So that's pretty similar to what we had in the last Train Sim World. And then you've got your timetable, which used to be called service mode. Timetable is where you basically you pick which train you want to drive, say the GP38-2, and then you go into here and this is like a live schedule that runs. It's the same as Train Sim World. It's a live schedule that runs, and you can just jump in and take over one of the timetable slots. But what I'm going to do is we're going to go for this journey stuff up here, Peninsula Corridor journey, and in here you can there's 3 chapters, 1 chapter for each, in quotes, train. I say each train because this one's not technically a train. This here is the F40PH-2CAT, which is the locomotive that you can drive. It's a diesel-electric locomotive, I believe. These are a bunch of, I don't know, you call them scenarios, I guess, within this chapter that we can do. You can see this one's not done. Like I say, I can't complete this one. But if we was to look at, say, this one, this is the cab car. This is interesting. This is a two-floor cab car, and you drive it in this seat here, which is like upstairs, but the actual engine is the F40PH at the back of the train, but you sit up front. It's kind of weird and fun and interesting. So I've done the introduction to that one, and then there's the freight train in this, which is the GP38-2, which obviously is going to have some pretty interesting scenarios to do here, I think. What I'm going to propose to do is we'll just jump in and do one of the F40PH-2CATs, and then I'll probably do another video on the cab car, and then a different one on the freight engineer, and we'll kind of take it from there, see what you guys want to do. So we'll jump into this, which is the California Commuter. It says, take charge of a southbound service en route to San Jose. The train has reached Millbrae and is ready for departure. So with this one, we don't have to start the train, which, you know, I'll do in a later video. I'll show you how we start the trains and that kind of thing, or start the engine. So yeah, let's just jump into this and complete the story mission. Californian Commuter, welcome to Millbrae. A terminus on the connecting Bay Area rapid transit close to San Francisco International Airport. So, mill break, complete passenger boarding, continue on the south side, blah, blah, blah. So, first thing to note is graphically, it's just as good as Train Sim World, but I think they've actually optimized things slightly. The frame rate seemed to be somewhat better. And of course, the detail and definition and texturing is, well, it's superb, isn't it? You can't complain about the way this thing looks at all. Let's click, open the door, press E, climb up. Now, the loco is already started. Everything's running. You can hear the engine. Not sure what's venting out here, but someone's got a leak. Right, tab, and then unlock the right doors. Press the 2 key, and we can see that camera there. The door just opened. Top left, passengers are loading, so while that's going on, we're going to open the window so we can hear that lovely engine. And we're going to complete setup, because even though it gives us a fully operational started locomotive, for some reason it never puts the lights on, so we'll put them onto dim. That's the main headlights, and we'll also put the instrument gauge lighting on here, because it's still early morning. There is a cab light. There's also a step light there that we're not going to use. Everything else is set up. The automatic brake is here. The independent brake's down there. The dynamic brake's here. So we're only going to use the automatic brake. We don't need the independent, and we won't use the dynamic. The brake pressure systems are here. So the master pressure's indicated on the red line there. And then over here, this is a lapped braking system. So therefore, when we pressurize the brake line, the brake cylinder will release pressure on the calipers, and then we can put it on lap brake so we can hold our brake pressure and that kind of thing. So we'll just lock the doors, get going. I'll explain some more of the UI as we get moving here, but we've got a timetable to keep to. Oh, we've got to click, put the reverser stick in, and then put it into the forward position. Put our throttle up to position 3, and then release our brake. And you'll see the white brake pipe pressure. Can't even say that. The brake pipe pressure is going up, and as it goes up, the AV valve releases it and releases the reservoir into the brake cylinders, which then releases the actual brake shoes, and we can move. Hope that explained it. It's clear as mud. Top left, 4.1 miles to San Mateo. If we press the control 1 key, we can have the distance marker on the track if we prefer. I prefer not to. I'd rather run it like this. Top right, we've got our distance to next signal and distance to next line speed change. Press control 4, you can get rid of both of them or have one of them. And then control 3 and control 2 will indicate whether you want those things on the track or not, or whether you prefer to have them top right, or you can just turn them off completely. Control 5 will turn off this display down the bottom there. Speaking of display, let's put some more throttle in. Speaking of display, this is showing the power that you're generating from your diesel electric. This is what throttle setting you've applied, the fact the reverse is in forward, the brake pressures, current line speed is here, current speed is here with a trend line there. So that vertical markers to the right, it means we're accelerating, to the left it means decelerating, and in the middle it means we're coasting. And then our local time. If you right click on the display, you get the mouse back, which is useful, can be useful. Press the T key, that gives you your task list. That says that we're stopping at San Mateo at 6:11, which is here. That's when we're due in. This will be when we get there, and this will be how many action points that we get for that. Remember, the action points drive whether you get a bronze, silver, or a gold. Control 6 will show you action points up at the top right there, so you can see yourself accumulating points and how well you're doing. One final thing is, hang on, let's just do the, I think we're approaching a level crossing. Sound the horn, put the bell on. I think there's a level crossing coming. The dot in the middle of the screen, control 8, this is not well documented, but trying to control these elements like this without a dot in the middle I found fairly tricky. So control 8 will bring you a transparent dot, control 8 again will bring you a white dot. Personally, I just like having that semi-transparent dot. It just makes it so much easier when you're trying to click down here on a particular thing. Your mileage may vary, but I thought I'd tell you how to get that dot because most people don't go digging through the controls to find that out. Let's just back off on the throttle slightly. because we're not that far off line speed limits. Now, you're supposed to, the way you're supposed to operate this train is you're supposed to accelerate up to the speed you want and then immediately bring it down to idle position like that, and then coast to save wear and tear on the engine. That's what you're supposed to do, which we could do. Not sure if we could do it from this distance, but for now, let's just try and get up to speed. Now, braking, like I said, it's a lapped braking system, so what we'll do is when we apply the brake, put it into service, the cylinder, the red line will come up, and wherever we want it to stay, we just put it into lap mode and it will hold that pressure. That's how we want to be braking. And the way we want to brake is we want to brake fairly early and gently, because we've got passengers on board and they don't want to spill their coffee everywhere. So let's try that out. Once we get to about a mile, we'll start to apply a little bit of brake pressure. Like I say, Control 1, if you want that marker, it can help a little bit. Trouble is, because I'm waffling, I tend to sort of miss some things. So we'll try. We're a mile out, so if I bring some brake in now, holding lap brake. Now, as I put it into service, that will go up. I can then put it into lap mode and it'll just hold that brake pressure there. And you can see our speed's starting to come down. We're 7.7 a mile away. And it's just gently braking, just gently killing some speed. You know, it's up to us what kind of speed we want to get down to. This is all about practice and judgment, and I don't have much practice with this train, so you know, we may be braking a little bit early, but it's better than braking too late, I think. Let's bring our speed down to 30, so we'll release the brakes there and just let it cruise in, which may make us a bit late. I mean, it's 6:11, it's gone 6:11, so we're already a little bit late, but I am still learning how to get the best out of this particular train. Now, the platform is in sight just there. We want to be stopping right at the end of the platform, so we're going to be about a minute late, I think, when all's said and done. As long as we don't bust the platform, I'm happy with that. Right, so let's get our brake into service. Lap it. That should bring us our speed down, 30 down to 20. May have done it slightly too early. We'll see. This is all about practice at the end of the day. Yeah, we kind of stopped a bit early, I think. We're not quite in position, but hey, it'll do. Okay, let's unlock the doors. Let's have a look at the back of the train and see how... Let's turn the bell off. It's so annoying. That's how we did. Actually, that's good. Everybody can still get off the train. That's surprising. Right, passengers are loading. You can see there are just like this. There aren't many passengers here at all. The kind of game spawns like one or two of passengers around the place. Some are already on board. This guy may or may not get on. If he gets on, what he'll do is he'll walk up this step here, and then he'll just teleport inside. That's to some extent to that. And in terms of vehicles, as you can see, there's one or two vehicles messing around, but if you just watch how they like turn corners and stuff, it's extremely rudimentary. Like, they're just completely on rails. But that's what you get. It's a train sim, not a car sim. Right, passengers are loaded. Let's lock the doors. Let's bring the throttle up. Power's generating. And we'll go for brake release. Put the bell back on. Now, line speed is 80. Next stop is 2.5 miles, but we are behind. We'll have a look at the points in a second when we get going. I wonder how drivers of these trains learn to live with the bell. It's kind of like my summer car and mosquitoes. You know, I notice it a lot at the moment because it's just driving me nuts, but in my summer car, the mosquitoes don't bother me anymore. My brain just filters them out. I wonder if that happens to a real driver. Okay, press the T key, let's have a quick look. So it says we got 496 and loaded passengers 456. If I had to guess, I'm wondering if that is at maximum of 500 and that's a maximum of 500 maybe. In which case, why did I lose 44 points? Is it because we left late? Maybe. I hope we get some kind of explanation. There is a debrief screen at the end, which kind of shows you the line speed and what speed your train was doing, so you can get an idea of how you performed. So it does break things down a bit better. But we'll see when we get to the end. I'm going to turn the bell off just for now, because I can't see the next level crossing. I think normally there's something like a W symbol, is it? Like S there. I can't imagine living here with all these trains barreling down with bells and horns and that kind of thing just blaring away. That must get really annoying. No, it's not a level crossing. Yeah, okay. So, you know, there is a lot to pay attention to. Wow, the back of that bus just like clipped into the pavement then. Okay, we're 1.1 miles. We're going to go immediately to idle throttle and start thinking about slowing down. We'll try braking a little bit later this time. Just put it into 15. How about that? Let's try that. Let's get some nice gentle braking going on. Okay, 0.6 miles and we're doing 60. This feels a bit better. 50 miles an hour with 600 yards to go. Yeah, this doesn't feel so bad actually. Maybe need a bit more braking now. Ooh, this ain't bad. We're down to 35 at the start of the platform. That's probably a bit fast. Okay, I don't know why the engine's suddenly throttled up and it's decided to... Okay, I don't know what just happened then. Well, the engine throttled up and then it just immediately dumped a load of brake pressure in. And... yeah, that was weird. It basically stopped me. I put a bit more brake pressure in and the engine went and it just stopped the train, so we'll have to roll with that. But I wish I understood why it did that. Wait, look at the detail. I mean, static scenery is absolutely fantastic. Buildings, trees, like all from a decent distance as well. I think the one thing I would like to see is a better skybox. I know we can't see much clouds here, it's a clear day, but when it's cloudy the skybox isn't brilliant, you know, like Eurotruck skybox is better. Which it shouldn't be, because this is like an Unreal Engine, so it should be pretty good at that kind of thing. Let's lock that. Okay, so we're not getting any engine power for some reason. Yes, we are. There we are. Okay, release the brakes. And we're moving. What's really weird is like the way the engine sounds. You hear it, you hear the engine kind of go up a bit, but you don't really... It's not like, say, a car where you hear it, or a truck, you hear it accelerate, you hear the engine go, because it's going through all these gears. Because it's diesel electric, you don't get any of that. You just get this engine of, and this power just comes from nowhere. It's so odd. Like, that's revved up now. Now you know it's generating power. Wow, did you see that white car there? That was so weird. That is such a weird bit of road. What is going on? It's like a massive speed bump or something. Okay, we've got a green signal and a line speed of 79, so far so good. Definitely lost some points here. compared to last time, see? That's possibly because the accuracy of... It's so nice seeing trains coming the other way as well. I reckon we lost points because of the accuracy of our stop, because it stopped me quite early. We didn't stop at the platform, and you probably lose like a point per yard off the ideal. So I'm thinking that's where we lost points on the passenger pickup. Right, what have we got? 79, 2.4 to San Carlos. Is San Carlos our destination? Oh no, Redwood City. Lovely. Absolutely gorgeous looking. Look at that. Like, visually this game is probably the best of the train sims, I think. Physics-wise, it seems to handle pretty well. System-wise, probably give it like a 7 or an 8 out of 10. What I want to know about Train Sim World 2020, considering, when was it released, Train Sim? Was it 3 years ago, Train Sim World? Was it 2 or 3 years ago? I'm trying to rack my brains now. 2017, I'd guess. So that'd have been 2 years. What I'm trying to work out is, I remember that they said that Train Sim World would have multiplayer support, and it would have third-party add-on support, including workshop support. And 2 years later, Train Sim World 2020 is out, and I don't see any of that. I don't see any workshop support. I don't see any third-party add-ons for this, and I don't see any multiplayer. So I have a bit of a problem with that, because that was like an original promise. So a bit of a grumble with that. I am glad to see that the scenarios they are releasing are... let's get a break on here. The scenarios they are releasing, like, they're getting better with it in terms of the tutorials and chapters and timetable. It's still a bit formulaic, but it you know, it works. You get some reasonable content for your money, kind of thing. But yeah, they've really got to open this up to third parties. Then we're going to start to see some, you know, you get some like Armstrong Powerhouse trains in here, and then we're going to be talking, right? And it's just such a crying shame that we can't have that yet. Okay, let's get our speed down. Just hold that pressure. Well, this is a nice station. Look at this. Coming in at 20 seems to be quite a nice thing to do. Also using the holding pressure. Just got to get our braking zone right now. Yeah, I know we're 2 minutes late, but this feels like a nice controlled entry into the station. I like this. Loop. Nice. Oh, it's so built up around here. Look at this. I can feel the frames are not tanking, but the frames are not quite butter. But look at all the stuff it's drawn. It's hardly surprising. I just love, like, you get the heat blur, you get the smoke coming out the top. The detail on the train, look at the reflections on the windows. Even got like the dirt marks where the wipers have cleaned it. Like, visually the game is fantastic. Trees in the distance, not so fantastic, but hey, it's all about the train. San Carlos, let's see. 620 pickup, we only made her at 622. Driving under speed limit plus 30. It kind of feels like, I'm gonna say, it kind of feels like a system that rewards you rather than punishes you. And by that I mean, I don't think it's taking points away. It's just removing, it's just not adding them, if that makes any sense. So like with Euro Truck, you complete a journey. When you drop it off, it'll say, here's all the points you got, here's all the bonuses. Oh, and we took points away because, you know, you damaged the trailer, you did this, you did that wrong. you got there late. It takes things away again. I don't think this is taking things away. I think this is just not adding things. So if I started busting the speed limit, I think it would stop adding points for staying within the speed limit rather than taking points away, which is a different way of doing it if that's what it's doing. But we won't know until we get to the end screen. Okay, let's get going in. I love the way they elevate the train line up here. It's fantastic. But yeah, like I say, I wouldn't like to live around here. I wonder how many of them are apartments and how many of them are actually just industrial things. Okay, we've got a yellow signal coming up on a 200 meters, 200 yards, sorry, so we just need to pay some attention to this. Just to see what it does. Okay, it's still yellow, so let's throttle back. Just need to be cautious in case the next one trips to red kind of thing. 1.6 miles away, and that signal's at 1. I'm guessing that's yellow because at the end of Redwood City there's going to be a red light. So that's going to be my best guess, is it's just the red signal at the end of the station. But yeah, I'll be happy if I get a bronze out of this, to be honest with you. I don't know how many Action Man points I'm going to be using or losing, but it's been a learning experience. It's nice seeing California like this. I'm going to do a UK route. They've got a nice UK route. What's it called? Something like the Northern Transpennine. It's like the Manchester to Leeds line, which I'm much more familiar with that part of the world. Okay, let's throttle onto idle. Let's get some brake going. Yeah, look, 0.6 miles is a red. 800 meters away, or yards, sorry. 600, 500. Let's get a little bit more brake pressure going. No, it just went to emergency, you stupid thing. No, no, it's all gone wrong at the last minute. It's gone into that weird emergency thing. Oh, dang it. No, don't stop here. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Come on! Generate power! It's gone into like emergency mode, I think. I think I was operating the brake control and I just went like one step too far and it just completely messed it up. I need to read the manual. Because something to do with the way it does the brake holding thing, the engine throttles up, the brake pressures go bananas, and I've not read the manual, so I don't know how that system works properly. So that's a bit of homework for me. But maybe I can just kind of limp home to victory here. Try and get the platform with the train. But yeah, if you look, I've got it on throttle 7, but it's not making any difference. Like, it's just completely ignoring power setting now, so I'll probably have to reset something. But that's okay, we'll be slightly late, but we can limp home. "35 yards, stop at location." So it actually wants me to stop more or less at the end of this platform, doesn't it? Look at things. Okay. Redwood City, which goes by the slogan, "By government test, our climate is best." Really? I didn't know that. Roll down the window, enjoy the summer weather, while allowing the passengers to board. I've had the window open all the way, thank you very much. They got a nice climate here or something. I think that completes the task list, doesn't it? So yeah, we're going to get the score screen in a second. And we'll see how badly I did. That was fun. Definitely need to read the manual on the train to understand a couple of quirks that it has. But that was interesting doing that. It didn't make it too difficult. It didn't throw any sort of stop signals in there, or, you know, like line changes or anything like that, track changing. It just kept it fairly straightforward, which you would expect from like one of the earlier missions in the chapter. But this is so cool. I will say though that the other trains seem quite quiet for big diesel electric type things. They seem a little bit quiet to me. That's all for now. The service will continue south to San Jose. Not for me, it won't. I want to see my screen, pal. Come on. There we go, debriefing. Right then. So up here it says speed limit is the red line there. And then it says your speed. So you can see I didn't actually bust any speed limits. But you can see when it was doing some weird stuff. Like the brake, my speed just suddenly collapsed here. So location was due at 611, actual 612, stop accuracy. 0.9 of a yard. That last one was pretty accurate. I was 3 minutes late, but look at the accuracy. This one was bad. That's when I stopped way early on that track, like 90 yards away. That's crazy. So then you get your personal profile level. You get Peninsula Corridor level, and then you get level with the train. So you get 3 different level markers, and then it says distance travel 11.82. There's no more information. I would like to see more information about my action points, because it says I got 5,400, but I can't learn from this. I can't see where I lost points, which is a bit disappointing. So it would be nice to show you a bit more info. But yeah, we're next indeed. Well, I hope you enjoyed that kind of first look of Train Simulator World 2020. That was the Peninsula Corridor, one of the missions in that. I will cover some of the other scenarios, some of the other trains. But please give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video, guys. Until next time, take care. Happy train driving.